is Jian from YCYWShanghai campus. Has any of you seen a South Korean show called Sky Castle? Well, it's a show that deals with an actual issues that teenagers face, including the pressure of doing well academically for the sake of their family's prestige. Here, the word SKY stands for three most popular universities in South Korea, which are Seoul University, Korea University, and Yonsei University. The show is a real reflection about mentality around South Korea and consequently the whole of East Asia. One of the most striking quotes that I remember is from a parent who says, "It's not friendship or loyalty that matters in your life, but your location on the pyramid. If you're at the bottom, you will be squashed by the upper class for your entire life, but if you're at the top, you will be enjoying it." From my experience, many parents in Asia aspire for their children to get into the top university and become academically successful no matter the cost. And the cost is great. Students devote all of their teenage lives just to get good grades and show high performances in their academics. Under these stressful and brutal conditions, students blame themselves and obsess over their grades and performances in school. They start to see their friends as rivals whom they should step over for their future. Eventually, students fall into depression, which often leads to serious consequences such as suicide. Today, I want to talk about this negative mentality around education and elaborate on how my personal experiences have led me to a new realization. I'm a student from South Korea, currently living in China, and I admit that I have used to suffer from the symptoms of excessive stress before. Fortunately, my parents weren't like the parents in the drama, rather it was my social conditioning that tortured me. I was a very ambitious and passionate person, so I had this paralyzing fear of being pushed down on the pyramid. I was never satisfied with an A and considered a score less than an A to be a failure. I felt gloomy and lethargic all the time, and despite being so young, I felt like my life was already a failure. One day, one of my teachers showed me a certificates earned by high schoolers, and some of the students wowed me with their high grades. But what stood out was my teacher's comment. He said, "Your degree is just a piece of paper if you haven't learned during the process. What matters the most is your character and attitude toward learning." For the longest time, I equated marks with future happiness, even though there is no correlation. I studied to get good grades and catch up with those people who are better than me. However, I realized that there's no correlation. Learning requires different attitude, one of knowledge, not for learning's sake. So, I want to ask all of you this question. Why do you study? Just as in Sky Castle, many elites are miserable, lonely, and grasping, willing to jeopardize the well-beings of their children and for themselves. However, high grades will not guarantee a true and meaningful success. Good is not equal to good grade. Good is equal to good mentality. Now that I learn because I want to, I have clear ideas of my future. Now, my purpose for studying is no longer merely to get a degree, but to become a better person, to seek meaning rather than money or prestigious career. Thank you.